Welcome to the channel. My name is Cam, and this is Thumos Training, where we're going to be focusing on strength, sports performance, and scripture, and everything in between that's going to correlate and help you on your fitness journey and building your faith with God. We are so excited to bring you this new Thumos training program and its content of supersets and their application, scriptures and their meaning, and everything in between. So to kick today off, I want to go into our first scripture of the series, which is going to be 2 Timothy, 1st chapter, verse 7. So let's get into that. The two chapters of Timothy are actually very interesting. It's actually Paul's farewell charge and call of perseverance. This is the last letter written in AD 67, written from Roman imprisonment. Paul writes with urgency and love, preparing Timothy to carry on the mission after his death. Chapter 1 is more of a deep personal encouragement, recalling Timothy's faith and lineage. Emphasizes Timothy's power of spirit, love, and self-discipline. It also calls for him to stand firm in the gospel. Chapter 2 uses metaphors of soldier, athlete, farmer to illustrate discipline, perseverance, and ministry, and encourages the passing of the teaching to reliable leaders. The chapter 3 warns of difficult times and false teachers, highlights the scripture's divine inspiration. And chapter 4 issues a final charge for Tim to preach the word. Okay? And also Paul reflects on his life. The scripture we had today was the 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, which says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control." So this verse, to me, perfectly captures the idea of Thumos, as God calls us to live boldly, fueled by power, love, and self-control, or discipline and passion. Okay? And that's a very strong correlation to a lot of the training that we'll be doing here. And a lot of the strange correlation that, well, it's not strange, but it's actually very, very powerful that we'll find throughout the Bible. And when we start getting into our strength training and you guys get on your strength journey, you guys will discover more and more on the discipline that you're taking in your workouts to better yourself is actually going to give you more understanding of what God wanted for you and for all of us to achieve while living. Okay, so I think this is pretty great first scripture. With that, we're going to get right into our superset. Really excited to feature this new piece of equipment we have here, the Adonis Functional Trainer. This thing has got everything, and it's going to take our strength training here at Thumos to the next level. We're going to showcase two movements today. One of them is going to be a cable trunk rotational move, which is going to work on shoulders and obliques. And the second superset with that is going to be a single leg, single arm warrior row. Okay, so let's get it set up on this thing. All right, so what we have here is our Rep Fitness Adonis Functional Trainer. It's a new piece of equipment here, and we're gonna utilize it for so many different movements. It's gonna help bridge the gap with a lot of rotational speed, core movements, shoulder movements, single leg, single arm movements. That's gonna help take our strength training to the next level. The biggest thing that we miss a lot of times when you're doing a lot of the big compound training and all the heavy lifts, the bench, the deadlift, overhead press to clean, squats, you name it, anything double leg with the barbell, you are missing so much of the small fine-tuned muscles, and that is where we are going to get with this piece of equipment, and that's going to help strengthen the stabilizer muscles and each individual muscle so that it's going to be focusing and isolating it, so that when you get back to the compound movements, you are going to feel stronger, more stable, and less likely to get injured. Okay, so the first movement, whenever we superset movements, I'll explain this first, it's generally two movements. It's going to be an antagonist-agonist movement. So what that means is it's going to be some sort of push-pull movement. So if I'm doing a chest press, I generally want to do some sort of back pull to offset those movements, but also offset each muscle group so you can focus on isolating each individual muscle while you're working the antagonist movement subsequently. That makes sense. Okay, it's science, right? So this first movement is going to be that cable row, the cable core rotational. Okay, so on this movement, we have this lock pin here that we can adjust, and all we're doing is we're going to set this to your shoulder height. Okay, so right there, lock it in. The weight wants to be medium to light. Okay, and we just want a single handle here. When we work on the right side, you want to have all the load be on the right arm. So the left arm is basically just assisting, but all the weight should be focusing on your right oblique and your right shoulder. Okay, so we're going to be pulling through, keeping the arms out in front of you, fully extended, and then nice, slow and controlled on the way back. So slow on the way out, slow on the way back. Really activate the core and control that movement on the way back with your obliques and your shoulders. Okay, nice wide stance with this movement. We're going to be doing 10 reps on the right, and we're going to be switching and doing 10 reps on the left side. Okay. Next movement. We're going to go straight into the row. In between your supersets, you don't want to rest longer than 10 to 15 seconds, okay? So we'll pull this pin out, take off the lat pull down seat, switch this attachment right here. Okay, we're going to be using the same weight for this warrior row. When we're going into our split stance or a single leg stance, you always want your opposite leg forward of the arm doing the work, okay? So as you're beginning with this movement, if it's the first time doing it, start yourself in a split stance. You're gonna have more stability, okay? And from here, I'm in a split isometric stance, and I'm doing a slow, controlled row, pulling back, activating the rhomboids, trapezius, rear delt, or the trapezoid. And we're going to do 8 each side, okay? Once you get more advanced, you can go right to that single leg, single arm, RDL position. And this is what I call the warrior row. Good stability, working stabilizers of the hips, of the core, pulling in, and get a nice isometric pull. Boom. All right, that concludes our first episode of the Thumos training channel. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I'm really excited to unfold all the supersets that we use here at our training that you guys can implement into your own programs, and also dig deeper into the Bible, the scriptures, and their meanings to help you guys in your life journey. See you next time.